weapon for me.
So
if you go past 15 seconds, I'll just interrupt you.
no, so I'll go shorter than that, because I honestly, I do think that's if Congress wishes to take that up, I think Congress would have to do the work, but we would be there to provide technical assistance. Unlike you, I'm not a firearms expert to the same extent as you may be, but we have people at ATF who can talk about velocity of firearms, what damage different kinds of firearms cause, so that whatever determination you chose to make would be an informed one.
We want to ban assault weapons, but we don't know what they are. You would think the guy trying to regulate and ban assault weapons, firearms, would have even basic knowledge about firearms. Another complete, incompetent, ignorant, idiot working for your government. This guy is, probably the worst of the worst. Expertise, clearly not a requirement in the Biden White House. Now, take a look, we're not done yet, at Biden's education secretary. This is all happening in one day. He was completely incapable and unable to answer a simple question. I don't think this is a hard question. I never thought, I would hear this in Congress. But take a look. What is a woman? That's the question.
Please define for me, what is a woman?
Our focus at the department is to provide equal access to students, including students who are LGBTQ, access free from discrimination.
Okay, so? What's the definition of a woman? You haven't given me that. You haven't answered my question.
I think that's almost secondary to the important role that I have as Secretary of Education.
My question is not secondary. My question is very simple. What does HHS say the definition of a woman is?
I lead the Department of Education, and my job is to make sure that all students have access to public education, which includes co-curricular activities.
Let's pause for a second, shall we? Did you ever think this would be a real news story in the United States of America? You ever think that? Ideology always taking precedent in the Biden administration. Woke wins the day every day. Now, here's another example. You thought I was done. I'm not done yet. Secretary of State winking Tony Blinken in Japan today. A few miles away, North Korea has been launching ICBMs right near Japan for month after month after month. China's been conducting hostile military drills in the Pacific, the South China Sea, the Taiwan Straits, and threatening to invade our U.S. ally, Taiwan. And yet Tony Winkin Blinken was more focused on Japan's green energy. Take a look.
This is a tremendously exciting day. To have one of the most major embassies that we have anywhere in the world make this green transition really sets the example and sets the stage to do even more across the entire State Department enterprise. And as the ambassador said, we're fulfilling an executive order by the president, but the fact that it's happening here in Japan with Mission Tokyo is very, very meaningful.
That guy a couple of weeks ago admitted they did abandon our fellow Americans in Afghanistan, 175 that he knows of, and that some of them are being held hostage. They are all completely out of their realm. They have no business being in charge of anything within our government. Is anybody out there, any of you out watching tonight, are you missing the guy that sent out mean tweets, especially taking on China, that's trying to take over the USA as the world's sole superpower? Anybody paying attention to that? I guess Joe is probably visiting more castles this week. It's clear that most of the officials have never held down a real job outside of D.C. in their entire lives. Common sense be gone. Nobody has any common sense in that swamp. And America's geopolitical foes, they are more hostile than ever. They're